Yeah, and we can't talk enough about inflation. And I've had Michael Saylor here talking about how he first got to see Bitcoin as an asset when the Fed started doing their most recent money printing when lockdown happened in 2020. We had Jeff Booth on the show, who's got a great book about deflation, and talked about how the future price of every asset in dollars goes up, the future price of any asset in Bitcoin goes down. What's wrong with this? And we talked about how it ends up usually ruining all empires from the Roman Empire to the Weimar Republic. Just to finish out on the dollar and fiat, Carl, how do you see the dollar and maybe the yuan playing out in the future versus, say, Bitcoin or Ethereum or other stable coins? Is this something that's going to be 20 years out, 50 years out? And how does it end, do you think, the fiat system? Because it's clearly got some time left before it shifts. But how do you see that happening?
Well, first of all, I would like to say that the fiat system is quite literally living on borrowed time. It is a finite system. It will end. It will collapse. There will be a day in the future where the dollar doesn't exist anymore, more than just pieces of paper that is completely worthless. When that's going to take place, I don't know. But right now, the inflation is completely taken off. And I've been talking about this for years now, that the inflation will take off and that the dollar will end up in hyperinflation. Back then, people didn't believe me. Even my parents were very skeptical, like, Carl, you're talking nonsense. Like, what is this? And, but now it's happening. Like, look at inflation, look at watches, look at the real estate, look at the stock market. Even during times of pure chaos, you still see stock markets skyrocketing, real estate skyrocketing. And like, I bought this watch like 7-8 months ago. It almost doubled in value already. I have friends who bought watches that tripled in value in like 1 year. Like, this makes no sense at all. These watches did not get more exclusive. They didn't generate more yield or profits. It's just like pure like inflation, newly printed money going straight into these luxury items. Go check cars, vintage cars, and expensive art, and all of these assets. They're completely skyrocketing. And some people think that inflation is something you can just go to the supermarket and measure, but it doesn't work like that. Inflation, real inflation, you have to look at all assets in the world, everything, because money doesn't necessarily go to every single asset equally. Money, newly printed fiat, end up in usually the stock market, real estate, and these assets that belong to the rich. So actually, inflation favors the rich quite directly, because the rich people, they hold these watches and cars and stuff, and the people that lose through inflation are the middle class and the poor people. But the middle class for sure, because middle class are usually the people that keep a big chunk of their money in the bank, and they rely on their salary, and the salary is always lagging behind in adjusting for inflation. So if inflation was 10-20% this year, you should get a 10-20% increase in your salary. Otherwise, you actually got a salary cut. And this is something people don't really realize, because of course schools don't teach this very conveniently. But yeah, I don't like the system we live in, and I hope that Bitcoin can truly change everything. I think it will. I think when the dollar and the fiat system collapses, there will be an alternative that has to take place, because money is energy. It can't be destroyed. It can only shift place. So it's a wealth transfer. So the energy, the monetary energy, will have to go somewhere. I believe Bitcoin will take that energy. So I think holding Bitcoin like I do, it's like having your ticket to the Noah's Ark. I am already on the Ark. I'm just waiting for the flood to come, and it is coming, that's for sure.